Today's video, bug out setup. Thanks guys for joining me again. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're on some land, and what my plan is today is to hike in a bit and set up a little camp, discuss a few things that I feel need to be addressed, especially in the prepper community. If you're a new prepper, so I'm gonna hike in a bit, go to an area that I know is a nice little spot to set up, and go over a couple things. So stay tuned. All right guys, just got to the location, and just gonna come down and check it out. It's gorgeous here. So I want to show you guys the spot here, and we got right up, back up in here. It's a lot of overgrowth. That might be a good spot to kind of level it out. The ground's already level, but there's like branches, I mean not branches, leaves and stuff, grass. Level it out. Be a good area to probably pitch the tent. And then there's all this flat. And this area looks pretty cool to set up. But once again, straight out ahead, right there, kind of looks like it could be game trail. So this might not be a good spot to set up a tent or anything. So I think I'm gonna set my tent up right here. That's what it looks like looking out. All right, real quick, I'm gonna go out to the outside and look down and see what can be seen from up top here. There it is, right in there. So I'm gonna take a quick break, have a little bit of water, check myself for ticks really quickly. And then I think I'm gonna set up the tent and see how that looks. So this thing is pretty much invisible right now. You could take a camo netting, throw some netting over it, or since I have this olive green tarp, I could put this tarp over it, and this tent would completely disappear back here. talk about this location here a little bit. I cleared it all out. I probably could have kept it a little bit tighter this way as far as the overgrowth goes, just for concealment. But that's something that can also be built up later. But for now, you know, it only took me, I think it took me probably about 30-40 minutes maybe to clear all of this out big enough. That way I can get this tent in here. This is a pretty big tent for a single person tent. And level out the ground because it was on a slope, so I had to level it flat. But yeah, everything came out good. And you know, going out in the open, it's really hard to see this tent and everything else in here. The green, it's weird. It's one of those weird greens where you think it's going to be super obvious, but then it's really not. And here in Florida, this green is perfect in my opinion because it's so hot all year long, and the vegetation is usually pretty bright colored because everything is well fed, and you know, it's got plenty of sunlight and it's got plenty of water and everything from the humidity and the moisture and the rain season. And that's why I went with this green tent, is just more for concealment than anything else. So the purpose of today's video, okay, the purpose of today's video, something I wanted to talk about, has to deal with prepping, bug out bags, survival stuff. What I want to touch base on, well, first, let me start off by saying, like, what got me into backpacking, hiking, and all that kind of stuff was prepping and survivalist and all that kind of outdoorsy bushcraft stuff. And you know, you buy gear, and then you know, you got to test it out. So you got to be able to test out what you're buying. A lot of people, and this is my issue with bug out bags specifically, is you have a lot of preppers out there that want to survive certain scenarios, and they create these bug out bags or get home bags. I know personally a couple of people that just don't use the gear. They don't want to put the pack on and go hike with it. They don't want to test things out. A lot of the stuff is still in packages. Everything's still pristine. There's no wear and tear on anything. And that's just bad, because in my opinion, you're living in this fantasy, but you're not actually going out and putting in the work and seeing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And that's like my bit of advice is get out, wear that pack that you bought. Go, you know, fill it up with all your stuff, wear it, and start to see where it's going to start digging into your shoulders, and you know, where it's going to hurt and how far you can go with that pack. Another thing is, in the beginning, you know, you want to buy all this tactical stuff, you know, because the tactical stuff is the cool stuff. You want the firearms, you want the MOLLE webbing on everything, you want the black tactical bags. What else? I mean, I could go on and on, but I think it's best that people take a step back and evaluate their gear, put their gear on, use the gear. You guys, I can't stress enough, go out and use your stuff, man, because I have so much stuff related to all of that that turned out to be junk, or it's too heavy and it's not practical for me to want to carry. And so far over the years, I've been able to narrow down what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And even now, I'm still kind of experimenting and testing things out. But for the most part, I'm getting out and I'm using stuff, because in a bad situation, you want to be able to count on the gear that you're carrying. You want to be able to count on the gear that you've been saving up and buying things. And the only way to know if that stuff works for you is to go out and actually test it out. And if you can, you know, like, I understand everybody's busy and people have jobs and families and stuff like that, but you got to get out once in a while and test your stuff out. I can't stress it enough. If you're a prepper or a survivalist, I highly suggest that you take a look into backpacking stuff, hiking gear. A lot of that stuff is going to be rugged enough to be able to carry for days and days and days. There are people out there that do through hikes that are 200-300 mile trips, even longer than that. You know, they're out there for weeks at a time with hiking gear. So you got lightweight packs that are durable enough to be filled up and survive the trip. Same thing with tents. Like, this is a Lanshan 1, and ever since I discovered it, I've been in love with this tent. It's lightweight, it's small, it's big enough. I could get 2 people in there if I wanted to. And with my kids, my last trip out, my son wanted to sleep in there with me. He's 9 years old, and we slept in there together. and there was still room if my other son that's 11 years old, if he wanted to get in there. Yeah, it would be tight, but it's doable. And this tent even comes in a 2-person version, but that's just this tent here. I mean, there's plenty of other tents out there that you can find that are lightweight. Just in my opinion, stick with the trekking pole style tents, because you can use branches and limbs. You can use trekking poles to set them up. The freestanding tents, they're much heavier, way heavier. And, you know, you're gonna dump $500-600 or more into a freestanding tent. It's still gonna be heavy, and you still gotta use those poles for it. Whereas this, all I need is just one pole, and then the stakes, which you can use branches and stuff. And I don't know if you guys can see right here, I actually used a part of a root here for this here stake, because here in Florida, like, a lot of stuff is very sandy soil. So I was able to use this and get this real deep into the ground and then pin it off. But my point is, like, with the trekking pole stuff, you don't need you don't necessarily need to carry the stakes. As long as you have, you know, some vegetation around you, some woods, you can literally set this tent up without using anything. And maybe I'll do that in another video in the future, is I'll set this tent up with only the stuff that I find around me, just to show that it works. And back to the actual backpacks. Hiking backpacks are a plus in my opinion, also too, because they're very like casual looking. You know, you blend in with a lot of stuff. You don't need to have some big military looking bag with a target on your back. You know, if that's the scenario you're thinking about. Like, last thing I want is a Molly Web backpack sitting in my car while I'm at work or something out in the open, where somebody can just peek into the window and see and know, oh, there's probably tactical gear in there. There's probably a firearm in there. Oh, there's probably some survival gear in there, this or that. Or your neighbors are seeing you carrying Molly Webb's backpacks and tactical looking stuff out all the time to your car. Now, guess what? They're going to think, oh, you're a survivalist. And when the SHTF happens, or there's a bad hurricane or tsunami or whatever kind of stuff happens in your area, they're going to be running to you looking for help and this and that. And it's just having all that kind of stuff just puts a big target on your back. And it's best to kind of just be like inconspicuous, which is why I like the hiking stuff. Okay, I got all my stuff in that Ascend backpack right there. Okay, that ain't no fancy brand. It's Bass Pro Shops. It's a great pack, really good pack, but it's an Ascend brand. It's not like an Osprey or anything high quality like that, where, you know, if you know a little something, you might be able to know, oh, that's an expensive pack. That's an average backpack, and I'm able to get all my stuff in there where I can come out and camp for however long I want, as long as I have food and water source. Guys, my advice to you is just look into the backpacking community, look into the hiking stuff, and get out and test your stuff, man. I can't stress that enough. Go test your gear this year. It's 2024. Get out and go test your stuff out in rain conditions, in the sun and heat, whatever. Go test your stuff out. Learn a thing or two and figure out what works for you, and then you'll get your pack lighter and you won't carry as much gear, because you'll learn kind of what you need to get you by. All right, guys, I'm about to whip up a little bit of lunch here, and what we got is, we got a summer sausage, black bean chili, already cooked, just heated up in the bag, and I have a little bit of jasmine rice in a cup. All you got to do is just add a little bit of hot water to it and kind of let it reheat. But yeah, I'm gonna make some lunch real quick and probably start, you know, packing up to get out of here. So you guys, that's my 3-ingredient meal ready to go. So we got rice, we got summer sausage, and chili. Doesn't get any easier than that. Cooked in a titanium pan. This looks great. So I'm gonna dig into this and catch y'all in a little bit. All right, if you're new to the channel here, my name's Rob. I do backpacking, hiking, fishing, camping, survival stuff, shooting, firearm stuff. I haven't posted any firearm stuff yet. I've done some airgun stuff. Check out the videos. I have a lot of stuff posted so far. We're at like 20-something videos so far. And there's just so much more stuff that I want to post and show you guys. But if you're new, subscribe, like the video as always, because it helps out. I'm trying to get the videos up there. I'm trying to reach more people. So by doing that, if you guys hit the like button and you guys subscribe and share the video, that really helps put every other video or even this video in the algorithm where other people will see it on their feeds. So if you can, it's free. Just hit the like button, subscribe, and then we can do more stuff like this. We can do some bug out situations, survival stuff, maybe some challenges. I mean, I'm up for the task. So whatever you guys want to do, whatever, just let me know in the comments and we'll try to get it done. But I really enjoy coming out here and doing these types of things. So I think we have a very bright future ahead of us.